Hey everyone, welcome to your phonics class. Today we are going to be working on some activities from your book. We are going to be working also with the suffixes, okay? Remember that since the last classes we have been working with suffixes, and remember that they are word parts that are added at the end of a word or a base word. Okay, so right now, as I was telling you before, we are going to be working with some exercises. And right now, I need you to be on page number 65. Everyone on page number 65, because today we are going to be working with new activities. So I need you to have your phonics book over there, and everybody move to page number 65. Okay, so today we are going to be working on page number 65. Page number 65. Can you see over there? We are going to continue working with the comparative forms. Today we are going to be working with comparative forms. Today we are going to be working with comparative forms, and if you can see on your books, the comparative forms that we are going to be learning today are the comparative forms ER and EST. When we use the comparative form ER, we are only comparing two things. For example, I can say, just let me look over here for an object that I can use in order to compare. For example, I have a pencil. I have a pencil over here, and also I have a pen. This pencil and this pen, they are different, okay? But in here, as you can see, I only have two objects. Which are the objects that I am using? A pencil and a pen, and they are different. So right now, we are going to compare them. What is one characteristic or adjective that we can use in order to describe or to compare these two things? I can say, this pencil is bigger than my pen, okay? This pencil is bigger than my pen, because as you can see, the size of the pencil and the pen, they are different, because the pencil is bigger and the pen is smaller, okay? So in this one, we are already applying the use of comparative forms. But in the comparative form, ER, we are comparing only two things, okay? Like the example that I gave you about the pencil and the pen, because we are comparing only two things. And we say that the pencil is bigger than the pen. Or we can say the pen is smaller than the pencil, okay? Can you see? We are comparing only two things. Okay, so right now I am going to give you another example. That is the second comparative form that says EST, okay? And we are going to use the comparative form EST when we are comparing more than two things, okay? So I am going to be using different things over there just to let you know this example, okay? As you can see over here, I already have different markers and a pen, okay? I have different objects. I don't only have two. I have 4 markers or 3 markers and a pencil, or in general, I can say that I have 4 objects. So since the comparative form EST is used to compare more than two things, I am going to use this example. And one example that I can give you about the comparative form EST is that I am going to say, for example, the pen is the smallest between these markers. The pen is the smallest between these markers. Why? Because as you can see, all these markers are very thick, okay? Very thick. And in the case of this pen, this is a little bit thin, okay? It is different. Or I can say, this marker is the best from these others. this marker is the best from these others, okay? Can you see? I am comparing different objects and I'm saying that one of them is the best between the others, okay? So remember that we have two forms of comparative forms, okay? We have two comparative forms. ER are the ones that we use when we are comparing two things, okay? And in the case of EST, the comparative form EST, it is when we are comparing more than two things, okay? For example, I can say, between these subjects, the pencil is the biggest. The pencil is the biggest from these subjects. Can you see the difference? Can you see the difference? Okay, the pencil is the biggest from these objects. Okay, that is the use that we are going to give to the comparative forms. So right now, just to finish explaining you about this, I am going to share with you my screen again. And you are going to see that we are going just to make an overview about the comparative forms ER and EST. Mind that we have two types of comparative forms. We have ER, it is when we are comparing only two things. And we have EST when we are comparing more than two things. And for example, we want to say, this pencil is the biggest between these subjects. Or this pencil is the tallest between these markers, okay? We are comparing with more than two things. So let's check the use of these comparative forms. And you can see over here, the suffix ER is added to the words to compare two things, okay? As I gave you the example. And it says, my pen is bigger than my pencil, okay? We are going to imagine that my pen is bigger than my pencil. That is the example. And then let's continue with the other part. And then it says that the suffix EST is added to the words to compare more than two things. That is the example that I gave you about the markers, right? But in this case, it says also, my phonics book is the biggest of all my books. And I am going to show you right here. I have different books over here, and I am going to show them all of you, okay? Reading, could you please help me reading, Andrea, the instructions for the exercise on page number 65?
Okay. Read each sentence, underline each word that is used to compare two things, circle each word that is used to compare more than two things.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. So in this case, what we are going to do is that you are going to be circling, okay, underlining all the words that are used to compare only two things, okay? Remember that when we are comparing two things, we are going to use the comparative form ER. And when we are comparing more than two things, we are going to use the words that contain EST. So in the sentence number 1, Brandon, read the sentence number 1, please.
Faster.
No, the sentence that you have on your book, okay? In here, I only have the words. I need you to read the sentence that you have on your book. On the number 1.
This winter went faster than has winter.
Winter, very good, Brandon. Now, in the word faster, this is our comparative form, faster. Are we going to underline it or to circle? Faster. Remember that you are going to underline the things, the words that only compare two things. Faster finishes in ER. Circle or underline.
Circle.
Are you sure?
No.
And so?
Line.
You are going to underline it because in that one we are comparing only two things, okay? One more time. Remember that when we are comparing only two things, we are going to use the suffix ER. And when we are comparing more than two things, we are going to use the EST suffix, okay? In this exercise, we are going to underline the words that compare two things or that have the ER, and we are going to circle the ones that contain the EST. Now, Isabella, in the number 2, in the sentence number 2, read the sentence number 2, and then you have to tell me if you have to underline or circle the word.
It is because the waiter was nicer.
Okay, in this one, underline or circle?
Underline.
Underline, very good, because we are comparing only two things. Now, Andrea, read the sentence number 3, please.
3. Okay. We had the warmest winter in 10 years.
Okay, in this one, Andrea, are we comparing only two things or more than two things?
More than 2 things.
More than two things. So we are going to circle or underline this word?
Underline.
Underline. Are you sure these words finish in the same way as warmest?
No, no.
It is circle, okay? It is circle. Very good. Now, Monica, on page number 65, read the sentence number 4.
Hiker.
The sentence number 4, Monica.
Hiker.
The sentence number 4. Read the sentence that you have on your book. We are on page number 65.
Temperatures were much higher than usual.
Okay, circle or underline the word higher. Monica?
Underline.
Underline, very good, because we are comparing only two things. Now, Astrid, read the sentence number 5.
Some days were warmer than others.
Okay, circle or underline. Astrid? Warmer.
Underline.
Underline, very good, because we are only comparing two things, okay? Now, let's continue. Jose Miguel, could you please help me reading the sentence number 6?
The situation was like
Okay, in that one, Jose Miguel, it is underline or circle?
Circle.
Circle, are you sure, or underline? Because it finishes in ER. We are comparing only two things, circle or underline?
Underline.
Underline, very good, because we are comparing only two things. Now, let's continue with Alban. The number 7, read the sentence number 7, Alban.
Stronger.
The sentence number 7 from your book, Alban, not the word.
Last year, the winter wind was stronger.
Okay, in that one, circle or underline?
Circle.
Stronger. It finishes in ER. Are we going to circle that?
Underline.
Underline. Very good. And now let me check another person over here, the ones that are raising their hands. Nady. Okay, Nady, help me with the number 8. Read the sentence number 8.
That wind was the wildest I have ever seen.
Okay, in that one, circle or underline, Nady?
underline.
Are you sure? It finishes in EST and we are comparing more than two things.
Circle.
It is circle. You have to pay attention to that, okay? We already have the examples on the first exercises. Okay, and let's move to the number 9. And I am going to give the opportunity to Luis Diego. Luis Diego, could you please help me reading that last sentence?
It from the lowest string of ever.
Temperatures ever, and you have to circle very good because we are comparing more than two things, okay? Very good, excellent. Now we are going to move to the next exercise, and I am going to ask, for example, Alberto, could you please help me reading the second instruction from page number 65? Alberto, you can do it. The second instruction for the second exercise. From your book, no. Alberto. Okay, let me check another person right here. Nady, read the second instructions for the exercise, please. From page number 65.
Add the suffix er and est to form new words.
Excellent, very good. Now, thank you very much, Nady. Now, in this exercise, what you are going to be doing, I am going to show you one example and then you have to do it by yourself. It is that in this one, they are giving you some words. For example, the first word that they are giving you over there is the word clear. So in the first line, what we are going to do is to add to the word clear the suffix ER, and it is going to be like this one, clearer, okay? And then the same word clear, we are going to be adding EST, and it says clearest, okay? So the same is that you are going to be doing with the next words. Let me check right here. For example, Alban, with the word number 11, dark. By adding the ER, how is it going to be?
Darker.
Darker. And adding EST?
Darkest.
Darkest. Very good. Excellent. Now, let's continue with Nady. And then Abby, okay? Nady, the word number 12, low.
Lower.
Lower. And with EST?
Lowest.
Lowest. Very good. Excellent, Nady. Now let's continue with Abby. Okay, Abby, the word number 13. Activate the audio, Abby.
Young.
Okay, young with ER?
Younger.
Younger. And with EST?
Youngest.
Youngest. Very good. Excellent. Thank you, Abby. Well done. Now let's continue with Andrea. Okay, Andrea is raising her hand. And then Ana Gabriela is going to help me. Andrea, activate the audio. The word number 14. Short.
Shorter.
Shorter. And EST?
Shortest.
Shortest. Very good. Now let's continue with Ana Gabriela. Okay, Ana, the number 15. Bright.
Brighter.
And EST?
Brightest.
Brightest. Very good. Excellent. Now let's continue with Monica. Monica, the word number 16. Narrow.
Narrower.
Narrower. And EST?
Narrowest.
Narrowest. Very good. Excellent. Vale. Sorry, Monica. Well done. Aha. Now let me ask another person. And I am going to ask over here. Valerie, the number 17.
Smoother.
Smoother. And the EST?
Smoothest.
Smoothest. Very good. Well done. Now let me check another person. Aaron. The number 18, Aaron. Dull. Aaron, are you there?
Duller.
Duller. Very good. And with EST?
Dullest.
Dullest. Excellent, Aaron. Thank you. Now let's continue with another person. And I am going to ask another person that hasn't participated. Okay, let me check. Another person. Okay, Brandon. Brandon, the number 19. Roof.
Loose. Loose air.
Roofer. And the EST?
Loose air.
Roofest. Very good. Excellent, Brandon. Okay, so with this one, we already finished working on page number 65. And we already converted normal words into comparative forms using ER and EST. Now, let's continue to the next page. Move to page number 66, okay? And in this one, what you have to do, it says, let me check the instructions right here. Okay, the instruction says on page number 66 that you have to read each sentence and then add ER or EST to the words in parentheses to complete the sentence with the correct comparative form. Write a new word on the line. So we are going to be working on this together. Brandon, in the sentence number 1, we have to make a comparative form using EST. What is the word that you have between parentheses over there?
Great.
Great. Aha. And if I have to use EST, what is the word that we are going to form?
What?
What is the form that we are going to, what is the word that we are going to use if we use the suffix EST? If it is great, how is going to be the word?
Great.
Greatest. Okay, greatest. In that one, so in the number 1, it is going to say, we have the greatest class of all. Now, Andrea, in the number 2, fast, we are going to add EST.
Yes.
Okay, read all the sentence. The number 2, Andrea. Joey.
Joey is the faster runner in the class.
Very good. Joe is the fastest runner in the class. Thank you very much. Now, Aaron, the number 3. The word is fast, but in this case, we are going to be using the suffix ER.
Fastest.
Faster, because we are using only ER, okay? So it's going to be, read the complete sentence, Aaron.
He's even faster than Rodney.
That Rodney, very good, Aaron, excellent. Now let's continue with Monica. Monica, the number 4, the word is high, and we need to add EST.
High test.
High test. Now read the complete sentence. The number 4.
Pamela gets to high gets grades of house.
Of all, very good. Pamela gets the highest grades of all, very good. Now let's continue with Ana Gabriela, the number 5. It is neat, and we are going to add EST.
¿Cuál palabra, Miss?
Neat from the sentence number 5. Neat. If we need to add EST, how is it going to be the word?
Greatest.
Neatest. Neatest. Read all the sentence, Anna, please.
She has the neatest writing in the class.
Very good, Anna. Now let's continue with Jose Miguel. The number 6, Jose Miguel. Tall, and we are going to add EST. Activate the audio, Jose. Oh, very good. In this one, it is the tallest. And it says, I am the tallest student in the school. Very good. Now let's continue with another person. Nady, the number 7. We need to add ER to the word short.
Shorter.
Okay, read the complete sentence. The number 7.
Even Miss Stevens is that I am shortest.
Shorter, okay? Even Mr. Stevens is shorter than I am, okay? Very good. Now, let's continue with Abby. The number 8, Abby. In the number 8, the word is funny. And we have to add ER.
Funnier.
Funnier. Okay, read the complete sentence, please. Read the complete sentence, Abby.
Mr. Stevens.
No, the number is, okay. Do it, do it, do it.
Mr. Stevens is funnier than your teacher.
Excellent, very good. Thank you, Abby. Well done. Funnier. That is for the number 8. And we are going to stop right here today because the class is about to finish, okay? So I wish you have a nice day and see you until tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.